Because we don't have young people in the room who are impaired in terms of they have hearing impairment. So it's even a challenge to the organizers of this conference that it's important if we want to connect youth at the global level and continental level, then let's include every young person, including youth living with disabilities. So we also reach out to these special kind of young people within the informal settlements, because most of them, other than being marginalized, they've marginalized themselves. They think because I'm living with a disability, then I don't have a voice. There's nothing much I can offer to make Africa a better place. But we are out there in those informal settlements telling them, hey, you might not have gone to college, but you can contribute to the development of Africa. You might be living with a disability, whether we can see it or it's a silent disability, but you have something to contribute on the table.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Shamake, I think there is the issue of the models of financing, and I know you've been doing quite a bit in terms of creating models through which you can you can support, youth innovations, young entrepreneurs. I think you need to share with us a little bit about that, but also tell us where is the money, because young people have great ideas, they have great innovations, but where is the money to support some of these ideas, to support some of these creation? Who has the money so that young people can go after them?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Raphael. I'm not sure I know exactly who has the money, but I can, think outside the box with you all to kind of think about collectively what are new ways of financing and maybe share some best practices. So at UN Habitat, since 2009, we've had an Urban Youth Fund. And basically, the purpose of the Urban Youth Fund really is to, get from policy and put money in young people's hands to say, we trust you enough to put resources in your pockets and coach you throughout that process. So we're not just giving resources to young people. And the grants range from about $10,000 to about $25,000 to young people directly globally. So just to give you some stats on what we've been doing and how many projects that we've funded since 2009, there's been 284 youth-led groups that have been funded in 66 countries and 172 countries across Africa, Asia Pacific, Arab states, Latin America, and the Caribbean. So from the pool of funded recipients, 559 social enterprises have been formed and over 30,000 youth have been trained. So as I was saying, when we put resources in young people's hands, we do this comprehensive training to make sure that young people know how to manage these resources, how do you report back some of those resources, and make sure that we're equipping you with skills. And we're not leaving you with just the money in your pocket, but once we do the capacity building, we also partner up, similar to your initiative, we partner them with mentors to guide them through this process for the duration of the project. And the projects last anywhere between 6 to 9 months. And one of the things that we've learned across, and since doing this since 2009, has been that, we don't need to invest lots of money in young people. We're not looking at pockets of $100,000 to $200,000 of funding. I think $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 of funding can go a long way for youth-based organizations and what they can do. I think Raphael asked an important question. I won't be long, and I'm mindful, and I want to really engage you guys. But one of the things that we've been talking about internally at UN Habitat is how do you harness the potential of young people in this age of participation? So looking at crowdsourced funding and how do you open up the pools of resources instead of thinking about the old way of coming to governments. The reality is money is certainly not in governments. Money is in the private sector. More and more ways of coming around. Just a show of hands, how many people are familiar with Kickstarter? Yeah, so it's a crowdsourced funding website where you just post your great idea. And I think one of the things that I'd love to suggest and maybe recommend with Youth Connect is maybe coming up with a crowdsourced funding idea for Youth Connect where young people can propose their ideas and out of that kind of evaluate some of the good ideas and build some mechanisms to support the ideas. So not just, again, fund the different initiatives that young people are coming up with, but once the crowdsourced funding is available, and I met so many great investors yesterday at different workshops and just meeting through the hallways, and people want to invest in young people's ideas. But I think the challenge for young people sometimes is articulating the results framework. How are you going to show impact in terms of what you're doing? So it's fantastic, and I'm happy we had a gentleman here who's looking at the fashion industry to kind of think outside the box, to think of how can I use fashion again, or business, to do good. And I think Rose is right. You know, gone are the days where you want to make money and that's it and sit on your ivory tower. If you want to make change and create change in this continent, figure out how you can also connect, making money to social good. And I think people want to get behind good ideas that can show results at the end of the day. So I'll end with those comments.
Okay, thank you so very much. I was just being reminded, let's give them a proper round of